Hello and welcome to my channel. So, as you know, the Royal College of Nursing, which is currently the world's largest union and professional body for nurses, has announced that nurses in the UK will be striking on Thursday, the 15th of December this year, and also on Tuesday, the 20th of December this year. So in this video, I'm going to be telling you what does this mean for you if you're currently a nurse in the UK or you're planning to move to the UK as a nurse. What does this mean, for you if you strike or if you choose not to strike? And also, what is the position of the NMC? What is expected of you during these 2 days of strike action? And the reason I'm doing this video is because I've had many people contact me saying to me, Melvis, what does this mean? What is this strike all about? So I'm going to be telling you all of that in this video. So if you're new to the channel, again, you're welcome. It's beautiful to have you. If you're a returning subscriber, I appreciate your time watching these videos. I do hope that you find them helpful. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do hit subscribe, turn on that notification button because I'm here to bring you the best opportunities in the UK. And look, who am I? So my name is Melvis. I have a private career coaching service where I support nurses, midwives, student nurses, carers with career progression in the UK. So I'm a nurse myself. I currently work for the NHS in England as an advanced nurse practitioner. So this strike is something that is so personal to me as well as somebody who I consider myself a huge advocate when it comes to nurses, carers, healthcare assistants, midwives, student nurses, because from when I got into nursing, I've always found myself advocating for this profession. And also, the fact that I'm a nurse myself, trying to find the best ways for myself, the best opportunities for myself. And so, like I say, I'm really all into this strike. But what does it actually mean? So, this strike, obviously, the 2 days that there's going to be the strike action. Interestingly, the only three countries striking in the UK, you've got England is going to be striking, then you've got Wales, they'll be striking as well, and Northern Ireland. So there's going to be no strikes in Scotland. So strikes have been held in Scotland. And the reason for this is that obviously they're striking because the Royal College of Nursing has said that nurses are very underpaid. And look, if you're a nurse in the UK or you're planning to move to the UK, or if you look at our pay compared to other countries like the US, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, look, we're earning peanuts in this country. And for what we have to go through, to become a nurse, it's not easy because you have to have so many hours of theory and practice. It's quite hard and time consuming. So we deserve to be well paid, but nursing in the UK is the least paying degree job. So the RCN has said enough is enough. We need to be better paid. And so they've put an offer which the UK government has declined. They've said, look, this offer is so ridiculous. We haven't got the money. It is so outrageous and there's no money basically to pay for this. So because of that, that's why they've gone down the route of strike action. Obviously, the RCN was hoping that there was going to be no strikes, if the government did accept to give us a pay rise. So technically speaking, the government has chosen strike action over giving us a pay rise. And whether this changes or not, I'm not sure because Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was interviewed a few days ago and he said that the amount of money, the increase that the RCN is requesting is very unrealistic. So I don't know whether I'm hopeful about a pay rise, but it is what it is, and I'm all for strike action. But on the other hand, the government in Scotland, they gave a pay rise, which the Scottish or the RCN was like, oh no, this is not good enough. So the government then gave another pay rise, which they're currently negotiating. And this is the reason why in Scotland, they are not having any strikes as of now. The strikes have been held. But if they don't agree on, whatever it is that they're negotiating right now, then Scotland may have to strike as well. And you may be watching this, and that's one of the questions that I get asked all the times. Melvis, why is it that, is it not the same government across all the four countries? The truth is that the UK is run politically using a system called devolved administration. What this means in simple terms is that while the king is the head of all four countries, each country has its own set of ministers, and these ministers are responsible and in charge and are able to decide to pay their staff whatever they want, which means that Nurses in Scotland could be earning 30,000 per year. Nurses in England could be earning 20,000 per year. Nurses in Wales could be earning 15,000 per year. It really doesn't matter. Whatever the government in that specific country decides, that's how much the pay is going to be. And the pay does not have to be the same or equal across the UK. So if you're watching this and you're still out of the UK, obviously, these are some of the things that you want to be thinking about. Which of the UK countries do you want to go and work? Because not only are the T's and C's different, the requirements for each country, but also the pay is not the same and doesn't have to be the same because of this system of devolved administration. Just thought I should explain this because I get asked all the times. And also, if you haven't joined my newsletter, I do have a newsletter where I'll send you the latest information about everything going on in the UK, career progression pathways, new updates, opportunities, just anything. If I've got any offers going, if I'm doing a live session, I would send you a link to invite you. And I normally only do this through people who are part of my email list, who are part of my newsletter. So please, I'm going to leave you in the comment section. If you haven't joined the newsletter, just check it out, and join. Also, it's a good opportunity to ask any questions. If there are things that you want to ask and you don't necessarily want to do so, on YouTube so everybody can see what you're asking, you can also use that. It's a very discreet way that I use. And, your question only comes to me privately in my inbox and then I can respond to you. So you do need to be aware of that and make use of that facility. And also, better still, if you want to work with me one-on-one, for career progression, you've got interviews, you're thinking about your CV, what pathways you use, your career, you're like, oh my God, how do I become a nurse? You're a midwife, you're thinking, how do I progress? You're a nurse, you're like, oh my God, I want to become a nurse anesthetist, a manager, a specialist nurse. How do I go about it? You want to consider joining my private coaching program, Nursing Career Bootcamp, because that is where I provide this service. That is where I can support you better and closely, one-to-one. You're also going to meet other nurses who are into other things. And look, it's just a really supportive community of amazing, fantastic, ambitious, and success-driven nurses. So you want to check this out. So back to the strike action. The NMC has said that obviously as nurses, it is our right to strike. It is okay for us to strike, but we must do so professionally, which means that if in the course of striking, you behave in a way that is inappropriate, or that goes against the NMC code of conduct, then you're going to be disciplined. So basically, while you're striking, you still need to make sure you're thinking about the code of conduct, because if you behave inappropriately, then obviously you're going to have to go down for it. That's what they've said. So the RCN is also urging people to do so legally. So you need to make sure that if you're going out striking, you understand what it means to strike legally, which is what I'm trying to tell you. One thing as well, which is very important, you need to be a member of the Royal College of Nursing to strike. That was what I was told at work. You need to be a member, as in legally a member of the Royal College of Nursing to strike. So if you're a member, obviously, if you go to their website, you can log in and have access to that information. They're very good. They're providing a lot of information to support members so that there's no confusion. There is absolute 100% clarity, and you know exactly what is expected from you. They also have a strike fund, which means that if you choose to strike on those 2 days, the 15th and the 20th of December this year, if you lose any pay or any earnings because you were striking, you can ask for money, and they'll pay you £50 per day, which means if you strike on one day, they'll pay you £50. If you strike on both days and you've lost some earnings, then they'll pay you £100. So you want to just know that there's all that support out there. They've also got flyers and all sorts of things that you can use to show your support, even if you're working. And so I'm just thinking about myself right now. Will I be striking? Will I not? As a nurse practitioner, my job is considered as an emergency kind of service, because my official title at work is emergency surgical nurse practitioner. So this means that I'm seeing patients from A&E, patients that come to A&E that are appropriate for me to see. And I'm also seeing patients that are being referred by GP. So these are emergency on-the-day patients that need urgent surgical review by a specialist in surgery. So because of this reason, I think obviously Thursdays are normally my study days, so I'm going to be in uni on the Thursday, but for Tuesdays, sadly, I'm meant to be working on that day. So because of I'm considered an emergency worker, I'm going to have to go into work, but I'm still very much aware of that solidarity towards those colleagues that are going to be out there striking, because the truth is that even though there's a strike and we all know that we should be striking, but some people will have to be working, because even if you're doing a Sunday service or a bank holiday service or a Christmas service, you still need some people out there working. And that's what we've basically been told. So if you're working that day, you can still go to work. If you choose to stay out of work, obviously you cannot be sacked because of that. So you need to be aware that those are some of the things that you should consider. Have that conversation with your manager. If you're concerned, just sit with them and say, look, I'm a member of the RCN. I do want to strike. And what should I do? What's going to happen? So you need to have those conversations. But one thing is also very interesting, because with this particular strike action, not all hospitals or organizations voted to strike. Initially, I had thought that everybody was striking, but that's not really the case, because if where you work, if enough people in that place did not vote to strike, then you will not be striking on there. Even though obviously it's still a general thing that nurses in the UK are striking, but it depends. There's a list of organizations where strikes will be taking place. So you need to check whether your organization where you work is part of that list. If it isn't, then unfortunately you will not be able to strike, because enough people did not vote for whatever reason. I think one of the main reasons is that many people took the ballot papers or the emails and didn't actually do anything until the deadline kind of passed. So these are some of the things to be aware of when it comes to the strike action. There are quite a few rules you need to follow. What the RCN tells you, the NMC isn't against us striking, like I said, but you need to do so lawfully, still being aware of your NMC code of conduct. And I really hope that this strike, obviously, the main reason is not only about pay, but there's patient care as well. Because if you look at the fact that over 44,000 nurses have left the NHS, in England so far this year, it's because the main thing is the pay. But most importantly, there's also that patient safety aspect, which means that if more nurses are leaving, then there's more pressure for those that are going to remain. And because of that pressure, that can become a patient safety concern. In fact, it does become a patient safety concern. So the RCN is identifying two main reasons for the strike. One is low pay. Second is patient safety. So you need to be aware of that. Just follow the rules from the RCN. They're very good. They're providing information every single minute and second to members. You need to log into the portal, obviously, to gain access. If you're part of my private coaching program, we have weekly live sessions on Thursdays. Again, we can talk about those things on there. You can, just use your nursing community hub to leave any questions or contact me privately. I'm going to prioritize those messages, obviously, for the members, to make sure that I'm bringing that information to you. As I get any info from the RCN, I can pass it on to you if you haven't really got time to be checking it all out. Again, if you haven't joined my newsletter or subscribed to the channel, please, you do need to subscribe. I don't want you missing out on important information. I'm going to bring all updates on here. And for the newsletter also, I send you that information directly. I hope that this has been helpful. You can like the video if you like content like this, because I'll just make sure that I'm bringing in more. Leave any comments. Have you got any concerns? What do you think about all this? Keep watching the videos, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.